Detective James Porter stared at the body lying in compartment 4 of the Calais coach. Mr. Richard Armstrong, a wealthy businessman, lay dead with a single stab wound to his chest. The overnight train from Paris to London had become a crime scene. The door was locked from the inside, said train conductor Henry Bernard. When Mr. Armstrong didn't respond to breakfast service, we had to break in. Porter nodded, examining the small cabin. A half-empty glass of whiskey sat on the fold-down table. The victim's wallet and watch remained untouched. This wasn't a robbery. Who else is in this car? Porter asked. 5 passengers, Bernard replied. An elderly lady in compartment 1, a young couple in 2, a businessman in 3, and a woman in 5. Porter interviewed each passenger. Mrs. Eleanor White, 72, claimed she took her sleeping pills and heard nothing. The young couple, Tom and Sarah Collins, said they were celebrating their honeymoon and never left their compartment. Mr. George Wilson, the businessman, reported working on his laptop until midnight. Mrs. Rachel Turner in compartment 5 said she read until late but noticed nothing unusual. Something wasn't adding up. Porter returned to examine the crime scene. The whiskey glass caught his attention. There were 2 water rings on the table, but only 1 glass. He checked the small trash bin empty. Porter studied the victim's hands. Under Armstrong's fingernails, he found traces of dark blue fabric. None of the passengers wore dark blue, except for Conductor Bernard's uniform. Mr. Bernard, Porter called. Please explain why there were 2 whiskey glasses and why Mr. Armstrong had fibers from your uniform under his nails. Bernard's face paled. I didn't. You shared a drink with him last night, didn't you? What happened? The conductor broke down. 20 years ago, Armstrong's company took over my father's small business. Dad lost everything and took his own life. When I recognized Armstrong on this train, I just wanted to talk. We had a drink, but when I told him who I was, he laughed. Said my father was weak. I lost control. You removed the second glass to hide the evidence, Porter stated. Bernard nodded slowly. I never planned this. But seeing him, hearing him mock my father's memory. He held out his hands, ready for the handcuffs. Porter arrested Bernard as the train approached London. The case was solved, but there were no winners, just another tragedy born from the past's unhealed wounds. In his report, Porter noted how a simple train journey had become entangled with a decades-old story of corporate greed and personal vendetta. Justice would be served, but it wouldn't bring back Bernard's father or Armstrong. Some wounds, Porter reflected, never truly heal. They just wait in the shadows, ready to shape our future actions in ways we never expect. The Calais coach continued its regular service the next day, carrying new passengers unaware of the drama that had unfolded in compartment 4. But for those involved, that night's journey had changed their lives forever.